Okay. Partial safety factor. What is partial safety factor for the material? Means whatever design strength of material, how to find out? The design strength of material is equal to ultimate strength of material divided by partial safety factor. So partial safety factor is equal to what? Partial. So partial safety factor is equal to ultimate strength of material divided by design strength of material. If we take the ratio of ultimate strength of material divided by design strength of material, जर SU ला जर SD ने divide केला आपण, SU divided by SD, then we will get the partial safety factor for this particular material. Now see, these are the standard partial safety factors calculated for particular materials. Now, and that included in IS 800-2007, जो IS कोड मी तुम्हाला सेंड केलेला आहे मेल वरती, त्या IS कोड मध्ये टेबल नंबर 5 मध्ये हे आहे, असा टेबल नंबर 5 तुम्हाला तिथे मिळेल. सो व्हॉट इज दिस टेबल इंडिकेट? सी, resistance governed by yielding means partial safety factor by yielding, governed by yielding, that is gamma m naught. Gamma m naught for yielding, this gamma m naught we will require in unit number 3. Unit number 3 मध्ये हा yielding चा आपल्याला फॅक्टर रिक्वायर्ड आहे, and the partial safety factor is 1.10. 1.10 एवढी partial safety factor आपल्याला yielding साठी यूज करायचे आहे. Then second, रेजिस्टन्स ऑफ मेंबर टू बकलिंग, म्हणजे एखादा मेंबर आहे त्याला बकलिंगचा रेजिस्टन्स किती पाहिजे, त्याच्यासाठी फॅक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी किती कन्सिडर करायची आपल्याला, तर दॅट डिसाइडेड और इन्वॉल्व इन IS 800-2007 इज गॅमा एम नॉट, अगेन 1.10. देन रेजिस्टन्स गवर्न बाय अल्टिमेट स्ट्रेस, गॅमा M1, see here, gamma M1, that is 1.25. These three, gamma M naught and gamma M1, these are required in unit number 3 while calculations, while designing the tension member. Unit number 3 is related to design of tension member. While designing the tension member and we are calculating the strength due to yielding, ज्यावेळी yielding ची strength calculate करत असणार त्यावेळी आपल्याला हा gamma M naught हा फॉर्म्युला मध्ये अवेलेबल आहे. Okay, now next is the gamma M1 by the ultimate stress, means where FU comes here, yielding FY, yield stress is there, and here ultimate stress is there. Where FU comes there, 1.25 partial safety factor is there, and where yield stress comes there, 1.1 partial safety factor is there. Okay, so 1.1 and 1.25. So you keep in mind gamma M naught is equal to 1.1 and gamma M1 is equal to 1.25. हे तुमचं पाठ होऊन जातंय, कारण का युनिट नंबर 2 पासून युनिट नंबर 8 पर्यंत आपल्याला जे काही फॉर्म्युले असणार आहेत त्या फॉर्म्युल्यामध्ये तुम्हाला गॅमा एम नॉट आणि गॅमा M1 हे तुमची पाठच सोडणार नाही. सो गॅमा एम नॉट इज 1.1 and गॅमा M1 इज 1.25. that you have to keep in mind, and तुमचं ते पाठ होऊन जाईल, no problem. Now next, resistance of connection. So see here, small a, bolts, means if we use bolted connection here, if we use bolted connection as a friction type, then the factor, partial safety factor is gamma mf. If see here, the partial safety factor for shop fabrication and field fabrication, म्हणजे जर एखादं स्ट्रक्चर आपण जर शॉप मध्ये तयार केलं असेल, शॉप मध्ये, फॅक्टरी मध्ये, तर त्याचे पार्शियल सेफ्टी फॅक्टर वेगळे आहेत. आणि जर एखादं स्ट्रक्चर जर आपण फील्ड वरती म्हणजे ग्राउंड वरती तयार करत असेल, ऍक्च्युअल साइट वरती जर ते फील्ड बोल्टिंग करत असेल किंवा वेल्डिंग करत असेल, तर त्याच्यासाठीचे पार्शियल सेफ्टी फॅक्टर्स वेगळे आहेत. मीन्स the partial safety factors for shop fabrication, this is related to connection, for shop fabrications are different, for field fabrications are different. That is in IS code, and that IS code 800-2007 is allowed to you for in examination. So while bolted connection, while bolted connection, if shop fabrication is there, 1.25 U, and if field fabrication is there, 1.25 U. This same partial safety factor is there. Then when bolted connection, small b, when bolted connection is there and bearing type load is there, gamma MB, then again shop fabrication, for shop fabrication partial safety factor is 1.25, and for field fabrication partial safety factor is 1.25. Same for gamma MF and for gamma MB. These two notations are used in some formulas in unit number 2 and next. So we have to keep in mind only this gamma MF and gamma MB for this 1.25, 1.25, 1.25, 1.25. Okay. Now, if riveted connection is there, C, small c, riveted connection is there, gamma MR, again 1.25 for shop fabrication and 1.25 for field fabrication is the partial safety factor. And last, small d is the, if the connection is welded connection is there, the partial safety factor is denoted gamma MW. Gamma MW is denoted W for gamma M is common. See, everyone here gamma M, gamma M, gamma M, but here only gamma M naught, gamma M1, gamma MF for friction, gamma MB for bearing, gamma MR for rivet, and gamma MW for weld. So the notation, see the notations for the weld, rivet, bearing, friction, and here the partial safety factors are 1.25 and 1.25. And here the very important is welded. In welded, when shop fabrication is there, 1.25 for shop fabrication partial safety factor, and 1.5 here increases. See, 1.5 means on the field, if you are welding to two members, there may be chance of some the fabrication is not in good, because some skilled laborers are not, the laborers are not skilled, maybe unskilled laborers are there, they may not properly weld the two members. So on the field, we have to use the partial safety factor as a 1.5. Okay, so these are the factors we have to use in every formula from unit number 2 onwards. Okay, now deflection limit, whatever seen in limit state of serviceability, deflection limit we have seen that deflection limit for industrial building, for vertical deflection, for lateral deflection. If the design load is live load or wind load, these are the loads are there. These are the members, means purlin and gird. One of student asked me what is purlin. One of the students in chat box asked me what is purlin. So purlin is a flexural member like a beam which is just below the sheet. Means sheet means industrial sheet मध्ये जो आपला वरती पत्रा असतो, इन्क्लाइन पत्रा, म्हणजे तो पत्रा म्हणजे GI शीट असेल, गॅल्वनाइज आयर्न और AC asbestos सिमेंट शीट, त्याच्या खाली जो सपोर्टला मेंबर असतात, अँगल किंवा चॅनल सेक्शन, वी कॉल्ड ॲज अ पर्लिन. ते मेंबर म्हणजे त्या पत्र्याचा लोड पत्रे हुकने कशाला कनेक्ट केलेला असतात, त्या पर्लिनला कनेक्ट केलेला असतात. आर यू गेटिंग नाउ व्हॉट इज पर्लिन? पर्लिन हे एक मेंबर आहे रूफ ट्रस मधला की जो कुठे असतो तर जी शीट असतात आपल्या टॉप्सला इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये, पत्रा म्हणजे GI शीट असतील किंवा AC शीट, त्याच्या खालचा जो along the length member असतात, that members are nothing but the purlins, and that purlins taken load of that sheet, and on sheet wind load may be there. पत्र्यावरती कुठला लोड येणार आहे? वाऱ्याचा लोड येणार आहे. तो वाऱ्याचा लोड काय करतात, पत्रा कुठे ट्रान्सफर करणार? पर्लिन वरती. पर्लिन कुठे ट्रान्सफर करणार तर त्या ट्रस वरती, आणि ट्रस परत कुठे ट्रान्सफर करणार, जे व्हर्टिकल कॉलम आहेत त्या कॉलम वरती, आणि कॉलम फायनली ग्राउंड वरती. सो दिस इज इन दिस वे इन रूफ ट्रस वी आर युजिंग पर्लिन as a flexural member. So there may be live load or wind load comes, and the maximum deflection is allowed span divided by 150. So these are the see the last column, these are the deflection limits are available. याच्यावरती पण तुम्हाला MCQ विचारला जातो बऱ्याच वेळा. स्पॅन अपॉन 300 हा MCQ भरपूर वेळा विचारला गेलेला आहे. the span upon 300. So so you have to keep in mind such type of MCQ type questions asked in examination. Then you have to see where this deflection limit table is there. Table number 6 is related to deflection limit. Then you have to go. तुमच्या आन्सर तुमच्या समोरच असतात स्टील टेबल मध्ये कधी कधी असे 4 ते 5 क्वेश्चन असतात 14 पैकी की जे त्याचे आन्सर तुमच्या स्टील टेबल मध्ये असतात पण ते तुम्हाला शोध सापडत नाहीत कारण का तुम्ही कधी क्लासमध्ये ज्यावेळी प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व्ह करत असतात त्यावेळी आयएस कोड बघतच नाहीये टीचरने आपल्या ब्लॅकबोर्ड वरती लिहिलं आन्सर की ते कॉपी करायचं पण आता सध्या क्लासमध्ये नाहीये त्यामुळे तुम्हाला ते थोडंसं डिफिकल्ट होईल बट you can ask me personally any questions or call also. Okay. So these are the deflection limits for the various members. So here members are there. Members may it means our steel structural members are there, and for that particular member the deflection limit is there. Means if column is there, what is permissible limit of deflection for column? If beam is there, horizontal beam is there, what is permissible limit for this? So that limits are there, span upon 150, span upon 180, and the members are here. Okay, so these are the deflection limit and included in table number 6 IS 800 2007. Now again deflection limit for other building. These deflection limits are for industrial building, and if the other buildings are there, the deflection for vertical and lateral, these are the types of loads and these are the members. See, floor or roof. Floor is there, the deflection limit is span upon 300. Then cantilever portion is there, deflection limit is span upon 150. This type of questions asked for the MCQ. For that you have to read these tables properly. Then lateral load is there. Then wind load, we are considering lateral load in the building. In that case also height upon 300, height upon 500. So such maximum limit of deflections are given in IS 800 2007, and these calculations done with the help of working stress method and ultimate load method, and the IS 800 2007 is revised. Now next point is the cross-sectional classifications. So again in table number 2, IS 800 table number 2, clause number 3.7, in this clause number 3.7 the classifications of cross sections are given. So it means what? Classifications of cross section means what? So again we have to go to stress strain curve. So plastic, see here how to define class. So here plastic class is there, compact class is there, semi-compact class is there, and slender class is there. What is slender? See, class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 4. So class 1 is the plastic classification, class 2 is the compact, class 3 is the semi-compact, and class 4 is the slender. So what is slender? First we'll go from class 4 to class 1. So what is slender? See, if our member under loading condition and the member within the elastic limit, means the member within the elastic limit means before yield point, whatever behavior is there, that behavior is the slender. See, classifications. This question also asked many times in examination. Plastic, compact, semi-compact, and slender classifications for 3-4 marks. So on first unit there may be 2 to 3 questions on theory questions. First question, this classifications of cross section, design methods, advantage, disadvantage, or rolled section. This major 3-4 point we have seen: advantage and disadvantage, sections, various types of sections, then design philosophy, and this classification of cross section. These major 4 points we have learned in this unit number 4, and next point we will also learn, that is load combination. This on this 4-5 point you have asked 2 theory questions. So now we will see what is classifications of cross section. So what is slender we have seen. The what is behavior of the cross section up to the yield point, that behavior of that class section is the slender. Now after yield point, the behavior will be changes, and that behavior is the semi compact. What is semi compact? After the slender, your from this yield point to this final collapse point, the middle part is plastic and this part is elastic. So after yield point, whatever plastic uh, formation will start. After the yield point, the plastic formation or plastic zone will start. In this zone, before the plastic hinges formation, means what? See, it is very difficult to you tell me from you. जर मी तुम्हाला समोर असेल तर ते ब्लॅकबोर्ड वरती वगैरे त्याचं स्केच काढून व्यवस्थित आणखी दाखवू शकलो असतो. पण सेमी कॉम्पॅक्ट म्हणजे काय, तर यील्ड पॉइंट नंतर जे काय बिहेवियर तुमचं चालू झालेलं असेल प्लास्टिक झोन मधलं, त्यावेळी काय होतं, तर ज्यावेळी तुमचा मेंबर ताणत जातो आणि ताणत जात असताना एखाद्या कुठल्या तर पॉइंटला काय होतं, हिंज फॉर्मला तयार चालू. हिंज म्हणजे काय, देअर मे बी रोटेशन अलाउड. ज्या ठिकाणी हिंज फॉर्म होतं म्हणजे काय, रोटेशन अलाउड होतं. मग या सेमी कॉम्पॅक्ट झोन मध्ये रोटेशन हिंजेस फॉर्मेशन चालू होतात, फक्त पूर्णपणे हिंज फॉर्म होत नाही, चालू होतात. कुठून, यील्ड पॉइंट पासून पुढे. दॅट इज सेमी कॉम्पॅक्ट रिजन or semi-compact area. Then after semi-compact, the compact classification is there. What is compact classification? Their formation of plastic hinges are there, means due to additional load the hinges are formed in the sections. The adequate hinges are formed in the section. That classification is the compact. And last classification is the plastic, where the plastic movement is generated, means the hinges are formed and your member will rotate in any direction. म्हणजे इमॅजिन करा, एक तार घेतली आपण, बाइंडिंग वायर तार, आपल्या साइड वरची तार बघितली असेल आता तुम्ही. इमॅजिन करा फक्त, ती तार काय करायची, दोन हातात पकडायची आणि त्याला कशी कोणत्याही डायरेक्शन मध्ये जे सेंटर आहे त्या सेंटर मधून रोटेट करायची कुठल्याही बाजूला. ते काय होते, रोटेट होते आणि परत ती तुटणार आहे कधी, ज्यावेळी तुम्ही कितीतरी बाजूला अशी फिरवणार रोटेशन मध्ये, त्यावेळी काय होणार आहे, ती एका पॉइंटला अशी येणार आहे की ती कशी पण रोटेट होणार एकदम इझिली. इनिशियली काय होणार आहे, तुम्हाला इनिशियली ज्यावेळी रोटेट करणार त्यावेळी रोटेट होत नसणार आहे, जरा तुम्हाला त्रास होईल ती रोटेट करायला. पण हळूहळू ज्यावेळी तुम्ही मेनी टाइम्स, म्हणजे काय केलं तुम्ही, त्या तारेवरती काय केलं तुम्ही, लोड अप्लाय करत होता, म्हणजे रोटेशन अप्लाय करत होता. त्याच्यामुळे इनिशियल फेज मध्ये तुम्ही सेमी कॉम्पॅक्ट झोन मध्ये गेलात. त्यानंतर काय केलं तुम्ही, बऱ्याच रोटेशन दिल्यानंतर तुम्ही कॉम्पॅक्ट झोन मध्ये गेला आणि ऍट द फायनली ज्यावेळी तुम्हाला वाटायला लागली की तार आता इझी फिरायला लागले, त्यावेळी तुम्ही एकमेकापासून ओढली तर तुटून निघाली बाजूला. आर यू गेटिंग व्हॉट आय एम सेइंग? बिहेवियर म्हणजे एक तार आहे, त्या तारवरती काय करत होता तुम्ही, रोटेशनल लोड अप्लाय करत होता. तो रोटेशनल लोड आपण तुम्ही हळूहळू इन्क्रीज करत गेला, तो सेमी कॉम्पॅक्ट मधून कॉम्पॅक्ट झोन मध्ये गेला, कॉम्पॅक्ट मधून काय केलं तुम्ही, प्लास्टिक झोन मध्ये गेला आणि प्लास्टिक ठिकाणी काय झालं की कशीही तार फिरायला लागली आणि तुटली. म्हणजे काय, ज्या ठिकाणी तुटली त्या ठिकाणी तुमचा हिंज फॉर्म झाला. कशामुळे, तर तुम्ही त्या तारेवरती जो लोड अप्लाय केला. अरे गुटिंग, तुम्हाला एक मराठीत एक्झाम्पल दिलं त्यामुळे मला वाटलं समजलं असेल. आणि आतापर्यंत हे असे कर्वच बघतोय आपण, पण ऍक्च्युली ती प्रॅक्टिकली सुद्धा तुम्ही कधी युनिव्हर्सल टेस्टिंग मशीन वरती जर बार कट केला तर तुम्हाला ते बार कट झालेला दिसेल आणि त्याचं बिहेवियर हा स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन कर्व तुम्हाला कॉम्प्युटरवर दिसेल. तुम्ही ज्यावेळी कॉलेजला याल समजा, त्यावेळी आपण तुम्हाला मी एक प्रॅक्टिकल तुम्हाला युट्यूब वरती करून दाखवतो की ऍक्च्युली हा स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन कर्व येतो कसा. दिसताना पुस्तकात दिसतोय, शिक्षक शिकवतात सांगतात, पण तो स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन कर्व ऍक्च्युली कसा, एखादा बार जर अंडर लोडिंग कंडिशन मध्ये असेल तर तो दिसतो कसा, हा तुम्हाला डायरेक्ट कॉम्प्युटरवरती आपल्या युट्यूबवर दिसेल. आपण एखाद्या प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये तुम्हाला बॅच वाईज मी तुम्हाला तो स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन कर्व कसा येतो ते दाखवेन. Okay, so this is the classification of cross section. It means what? When your member under loading condition, then up to the elastic point or yield point, the behavior is slender. After the yield point, your behavior go up at semi-compact. After that, your behavior will go up to the compact, and after that, plastic means at the collapse. So that is the classification of cross section. So class 1, class 2, class 3: plastic, compact, semi-compact, and cylinder. On this 4 classification, there are in the some of the chapters there are formula d by tw, depth of section divided by thickness of section. On that, so classifications are divided. That we will see again in particular unit in details. Okay. Now the factor of safety is also over. Then classifications of cross section is over. Now the next point is load and load combinations. Whatever loads are coming on the structure and what are the combinations we are considering while designing the steel structure. So first type of load is the dead load. Second type of load is the imposed load. So, and we call as the live load. Then third type of load is the wind load. Fourth type of load is the snow load. Fifth is temperature, accidental impact. Sixth is the earthquake. 7 is the erection load, and other due to the stresses. So what is first dead load? Dead load is the self weight of structure. So what is our dead load? Means we are as a human. So our dead load. So our self weight is the dead load. We are balancing ourselves. आपले स्वतःचं काहीतरी वेट आहे तरी आपण स्वतःला बॅलन्स करतो. That is the our dead load. Then imposed load. Next is the imposed load. So and before that, dead load is the self weight of structure. And for that dead load, IS 875 part 1 is related to dead load. So dead load calculations or dead loads, which dead loads we are considering on a steel structure, that loads are given in IS 800 part 1. Then I have told dead load is the self weight of structure. Then imposed load. Second is imposed load, and we call it as a live load. So what is live load? The live load is a movable load from point to point, place to place, or location to location. Means if any structure is there, industrial building is there, so that industrial building is stable with their dead load. But any additional live load we can give on this industrial structure, that is live load. Means the movable load on this structure. See, now you are at your home, but you consider your classroom. You think about your classroom. Last semester we are sitting in our classroom. That bench you can assume. So our RCC slab is our floor. On that RCC slab, the benches are there. We are wandering on that RCC slab. Teachers are coming, standing on desk. So all our moving load, that is not a permanent load. Our moving load, student, teachers, benches, are desk. These are the moving load on that particular RCC slab. So whatever moving load is there, that load is nothing but the live load or imposed load. Now, and for that, IS 875 part 2 is used for the live load calculations. Then next, third type of load is the wind load. So for the wind load, where it comes wind load, if we see the industrial building, on the industrial building, there may be wind pressure, wind load may be there. So for that wind load calculation, while designing the industrial shed, So we have to use the IS 875 part 3. That IS code I have mailed you before our lecture. IS 875 part 3 I have mailed you, that is related to wind load, because some coefficients are there that we have to take from this IS code while designing the industrial shed or roof truss. That is third type of load is the wind load, and due to wind it comes on the steel structure. It comes on RC structure also. There is no problem. But generally our steel structures are high-rise buildings are there. So or have big length, so that the majority wind loads are considered in steel structure. So next is the snow load. Snow load, again IS 800 part 4 is related to snow load. Snow load in our area we are not considering snow load, because we are living in our Solapur region, and the Solapur region is not in Himalaya. So whatever snow is there in that area, we are considering the snow load. So where in Himalaya region, etc., we are considering this type of load. Then temperature, hydrostatic, soil pressure, fatigue, accidental impact, explosion, etc., are the other various loads are covered in IS 875 part 5. This type of all the loads considered in or given in IS 875. Now next is the earthquake load. So IS 1893 2002 part 1 is related to earthquake load, and that earthquake load we are considering in software as well as in manual calculations also while designing the steel structure. Then next is the erection load. So erection load is nothing but, anyone can think, erection load is nothing but the when we are constructing the steel structure, at that time some peoples are connecting two members or other members. At that time the erection load may become on the various elements of the structures. So at the time of construction, whatever load comes on the structure, that is nothing but the erection load, and for that erection load IS 800 2007 is there. Now other secondary loads are there, and the effects as the temperature change, differential settlement, eccentric connection. Temperature may be due to humidity reason, there may be temperature change will be there, and due to that uneven stresses comes on the structure, and our structure will suffer from the this particular type of load due to the temperature. Then differential settlements, maybe sometimes what happen due to whatever availability of soil is not proper, or foundation is not strong. In that case settlement of foundation will be there, and due to that there may be additional load on will come on the our structure, and that load we can consider as a differential load due to the differential settlements. Also due to the eccentric connection, sometimes connections are not properly, eccentric load is there on the connections, so then load may be comes on the our structure, and that load is the eccentric load due to the eccentric connection. So these are the various loads coming on the structure, and by using these loads we can design our steel structure. So this is very important when we will go from the unit